Do not call me resilient. My pain is not a badge of honor. I have a complicated relationship with the word resilience. Someday I cherish it, but today I publicly disown it. My relationship with the word resilience was and is as complicated as my relationship with myself, with God, religion, death, and society's relationship with me, especially the way society chooses to perceive and treat people who look like me. But if I could find the Creole translation for resilience, it will be the word jam. There is no psychological stand, no political stand on jam. Jam is good, it's sporadic, it's short. I like jam. My grandmother, Inocia Lefranc, was jam. Jean-Jacques Dessalines, one of the heroes of the Haitian Revolution, was jam. My grandfather, Jean-Joseph Louis-Jean, is jam. I'm still standing. I am jam. Jam, my Creole translation for the word resilience, is about honor and respect. The acknowledgement that I am here, that I'm present. It doesn't take away. It doesn't impose. Back home in Haiti, when we go to someone's home, we knock and we say, honneur, and the person responds by saying, respect. Jam is about women like my grandmother carrying heavy loads on their heads while climbing mountains, yet not losing their balance. About women who carry heavy loads from life that they never asked for. That type of resilience is never prayed for. My grandmother used to say, bat l'eau à pour faire, beat the water until it turns into butter, which you and I know will never happen. I have watched my people whip the water, beat the water, whip the water, beat the water, and it never turned into butter. So if there's enough butter for all of us in this world, why are some of us expected to perform miracles? Whip the water, beat the water, whip the water, whip the water. This is not resilience. It's a human rights violation. But before I continue with my protest against the word resilience, I would like to ask you two questions. Has resilience been used as a code word to dehumanize Black and brown bodies? Does it empower us to be bystanders when we call someone else resilient? Let me share my mother's favorite story about my birth. My mother said when I was born, I didn't cry. I went, mm. And as a kid, when it was time to get vaccinated, I also did not cry. I went, mm. And the became a part of my identity. And the became a part of my story. The put a stamp on my heart, and like a passport, I carried it everywhere with me. The gave me a false sense of identity, a false sense of pride, a false sense of security. I even internalized the when I used to get beaten as a child. My uncle used to say, Nana, brekriya. So I've learned to swallow my pain like I've learned to swallow my tears. But the pain did not go anywhere. And I'm not only talking about personal pain, but collective pain. I'm talking about the type of pain that we carry in our DNA, the type of pain from history, and the pain that comes from being in this Black body. I'm talking about the type of pain of a mother who has to bury her son, the type of pain of a nation that cannot breathe. I'm talking about Haiti. In 2010, when the earthquake hit Haiti, I saw my people's pain. Many people died in this earthquake, and many continue to die due to poor leadership, poverty, to face foreign policy. Yet, foreigners Journalists and missionaries stamped Haitian as resilient like it was a badge of honor. They call my people resilient as if we were designed to function in this inhuman condition, as if we carry a super gene that make us tolerate pain better. And I'm only talking about basic human rights like food, housing, education. My question is, if you are a scientist and you had the medicine, the answer for a dying patient, would you call them resilient and watch them die? Or would you give them the medicine that they need to survive? This is what I'm getting at. When we call others resilient and not get involved, we are holding on to the medicine they need to survive. We are watching them die. My question again is, does it empower us to be bystanders when we labeled someone as resilient? Resilience. The aftermath of the earthquake pushed me to a radical rage, and a personal revolution against the word seemed necessary. I needed to reclaim my humanity from people who don't see me as fully human. People who insisted on calling my people and people who look like me resilient. I revolted against the word resilient the same way I revolted against saying strong Black woman. I realized when others use it, especially from a place of privilege, they were violating my right to be fully human and my freedom to express the full range of human emotions. That word was weaponized and I was triggered. The pushback against being called resilient was collective. Many people in my community understood the weight that the word carries. It paralyzes change and maintains the status quo. So when Black and brown bodies are in need of change, a recognition of their humanity, calling them resilient without proper action, without the real change, is criminal. Reclaiming my humanity from the word as a Black woman and a Haitian immigrant was necessary for my healing. So I stopped calling others resilient. I unlearned the lies and disowned all the narrative that did not serve me. I learned to use my voice and follow my heart. Pain was no longer a badge of honor. I called myself a femme consciente, a word that I chose for my personal narrative, not a word that the world uses to dehumanize me. So I thought I was free from the word resilience. Then in 2019, everything shifted. My life got turned upside down. I was pregnant, diagnosed with hyperemesis. I felt like my body was giving up on me, like my body was turning against me. My pain was not acknowledged. Every time I wanted to scream, I was told to go, Every time I needed to cry, I was told to go, Here comes resilience taking away my power again. Here comes resilience denying my pain. I felt invisible. I felt defeated. But my husband held my hands, cried with me, prayed with me, persevered with me. Then the unthinkable happened. In the midst of a complicated pregnancy, I watched my soulmate die. I became a widow. I was dealing with loss and grief that was beyond my own belief. So instead of screaming, instead of purging, instead of crying, I went, Parts of myself died. I lost my sanity. I found myself at the intersection of life and death, hope and despair, resilience and change. I promised myself to never go back to resilience, so I chose change. And that change empowered me to tell my own story. That change empowered me to redefine what resilience will mean to me. My resilience taught me to cry and to purge. My resilience says, breathe. My resilience does not deny my pain. My resilience sees me. My resilience buries my and allows me to scream. My resilience knows that I'm a human being. So do not call me resilient to deny my humanity. Do not call me resilient and use my pain as a badge of honor. Do not call me resilient. My pain is not a badge of honor.